Lana.
Good morning, Lana.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hello, hello.
How do you pronounce your name?
Okay, so it's like a tongue twister, but its
Okay.
first name is Lana.
Lana, okay.
Last name is Grujic.
Oh, yeah, no chance I got
Grujic.
that one right.
Lana Grujic.
That's actually really good.
Thank you. Where is that name from, or where are you from originally?
Eastern Europe, Serbia, to be exact.
Nice. And where are you located now?
I am in Newport News, Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's been raining there, huh?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Mhm. Well, we're glad that you're here. I'm Padma, and I'm the facilitator. And
Thank you. It's nice to meet you guys, and I'm looking forward to this.
wonderful. If at any point you want to turn your camera on so we can see you, you're welcome to do that. If not, it's also okay.
Okay. I'm just going to suction him really quick.
I'm going to turn off for a minute.
Okay.
Katie, hi.
Welcome. Katie? Oh, you're on mute.
Hi. Good morning. Sorry, I just got my audio working.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you.
Where are you located, Katie?
I'm in Marin County, California.
Oh, that's where I am too.
Yes. Very close by. I'm at home right now in Mill Valley.
Oh, nice. Nice, nice.
Yep.
It's a gorgeous day here.
It is. It is. It's hot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another hot one, huh? We'll wait another couple of minutes, and then I would love for us to just take a few deep breaths and introduce ourselves, really, since this is the beginning of a new workshop series. I just first of all want to acknowledge everyone for showing up, because I know it's a big deal to carve out time and space in your life for yourself. Paige, do we know if there were other people who said they were for sure coming? I know it's always,
No, I hadn't heard back from anybody for sure. I heard back from some people that they had conflicts today, but that they were hoping to join next week.
Okay, good to know.
Mhm.
And there's Phyllis.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
So just as you're waiting, just take a minute and really just feel yourself here. You could start to take a few deep breaths and just let yourself arrive, make a transition from whatever came before, tending to children and pets and life and all of it, family. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. So let's just take just a couple breaths and just feel that you have gotten yourself here, and maybe sensing into what is it that has brought you here today? What really called you about this workshop and this community and Angel Aid? So maybe we just close our eyes for just a minute. We'll actually do a meditation, but let's just come into the space, into our bodies. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel how you're sitting in your chair. And just take a little minute to acknowledge yourself, or making it to a container where you get to be seen and heard and received. You don't have to take care of anybody else. This is your time to be with other rare mothers, rare carriers. And just see, what is it that has brought you here today? And then as you're ready, just bring yourself back and take your time, open the eyes. And I'd love for us to begin with just introducing ourselves and say your name, where you're from, whether you have a child or children with a rare disease and which one it is, or if you're a rare carrier. And then also, what is it that brought you here? So anybody wants to begin, you're welcome to.
I'll start.
Great, Phyllis.
My name is Phyllis Barrett Richey, and I'm the mother of 5. I 3 of my children had MPS, Hunter syndrome, and they passed away. I'm 78, and they passed away 2 decades ago. But we had them for 12, 18, and 19 years. And I'm here because Angel Aid has given me a new life, being able to enjoy these times of sharing stories and love and encouragement from the other mothers, and something that didn't exist when my children were alive. So I'm very grateful to be here, and I especially love the meditation. And on Thursdays we learn about new mothers' stories. So that's all I have to say.
Oh, thank you, Phyllis. So glad you're here. Nice to see you, Lynn.
I'll go. My name is Lana, and this is my son, Nicola. He is 3.5. He has Krabbe disease. He was diagnosed at 6 months, which was unfortunately too late to do a transplant, which currently is the only treatment. It's not a cure by any means, but it's something. But at 6 months, unfortunately, the disease was already too far progressed. So we were told to take him home, love on him, make lots of memories, and that normal lifespan for babies with his disease is 2 years. But Nicola has been so strong, and he's been a fighter, and he is still with us. So we are trying to do as much as possible with him and just treat him like a normal little boy and do all things with him that anybody else would do with their 3-year-old. He loves to be outside, loves the water. So we're lucky to be living where we are because we can put him in water a lot. And he's our only child. My husband is a firefighter, paramedic, so he's gone a lot. And I stay at home. I work part-time from home, but mostly I just help care for Nicola. We don't have any nursing or anything like that. We tried, we had awful experience. There's just nobody available that's qualified. So I just kind of took it on myself to learn and to do it. I'm here today because this has just taken a toll on me emotionally, physically, obviously our marriage, because it's just really become, what does Nicola need today? How's he doing? And if I do have a long time, we do it in shifts. Like, okay, you stay with him, I'm going to go do this, or I'll stay home and you go do this. So there's just, like I said, we live in shifts. Everything revolves around Nicola and his needs. So it's kind of taking a toll on us.
Makes sense. Wow. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to welcome you, Kathy. Also, I saw you come in, and we're just introducing ourselves and saying where we're located and a little bit about ourselves and what brings us here. I'm not calling on you, Kathy, and you're also welcome to go.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and go. I'm Kathy Woodward. I'm in Idaho, and our daughter I'm such a ball baby, so but she's a great girl. It's just, I just wanted to be here to get support and to hear what other things.
Yeah.
But she's a great girl. She's nonverbal. She's 17 years old, but she's a very happy girl. So we're very fortunate. It's just extra mama daddy time, that she needs. She always needs support, and she always will, and we're grateful for her. It's just all the extra worries you always have, but when you're letting somebody else take care of your child, or when they go to school, or just kind of all those extra things that are in your head as a parent, I think are my main issues. But she's a great girl. We're surrounded with lots of great people. People love her. It's just those worries that I think I have that are normal, but I need to be able to put them in a little place and realize she is watched over and cared for by people. So I think that's mostly why I am here. Her genetic diagnosis is SATB2, which there's about 400 individuals worldwide diagnosed with it. And but I mean, she loves to go skiing and adaptive skiing. She loves to go swimming and adaptive swimming. She likes to go horseback riding and adaptive horseback riding. She loves going to school. I think that's another worry. It's like, oh my word, she's going to be done with school soon. What are the other things that she can do to help her have a fulfilling life and have me not stress about, are we doing enough to help her with life, and she'll always live with us, and we're happy to do that. I can't imagine her living anywhere else. But I always wonder too, at school, are they doing enough to help her? Like right now they're working on life skills, but I feel like I know she's very smart. I just wish there was ways that I knew to help her learn to help, I don't know, just are there other options out there that are better for her that I'm not aware of? Yeah.
Well, sounds like you're doing everything you know to do and loving her.
Oh,
hugely.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is really just introduction. There will be times when there's a lot of wisdom in this circle. That's the thing about gathering in a group, is there's a lot of collective wisdom, and where our mothers at different stages of life with their child or children. So thank you.
I can go. I'm Katie. I'm located in Marin County, California, which is just north of San Francisco. And I have a son, Peter, who is 4 years old, and he has MPS Hunter syndrome. So those of you that have heard Crystal and Phyllis's story, you may be familiar with, or probably are very familiar with the condition. Crystal and Phyllis's story is one that has really captured my heart, because that's my son's diagnosis. He was diagnosed at 18 months old, and he had a bone marrow transplant donated by his big sister, who was 4 at the time, and that was very successful, a very hard year going through transplant, but it was very successful, but it's not curative. And this disease is neurodegenerative, so he will gradually lose skills. But he is doing pretty well right now, or as well as we could hope. He has hearing impairment and some musculoskeletal issues requiring him to wear some leg braces and things. And he has some behavioral issues, which sometimes can be the start of some of the cognitive decline in the disease, which always makes me anxious. But in general, he's able to go to preschool. He is talking and running around and very active. And so I think that I sort of live in this trying to be grateful and just live in the moment of what we have, and also this anxiety about the future, and this just dread of having to watch him decline over the next decade. And I think what, I've followed along with Angel Aid for a while and have not participated. And I think I'm very bad at prioritizing self-care time. Life is busy. My son has a lot of logistics with medical appointments and things. He does not necessarily require around-the-clock medical care, but he does require around-the-clock supervision because he's quite wild. And I work mostly full-time. I'm a hospital-based pediatrician, which has been extra stressful in this latest wave of the pandemic. And I'm feeling a lot of fatigue and burnout from work and home. And I think this workshop, I feel like really jumped out at me, because I feel like one of the relationships that suffered, or just, it's been a source of strength for me, is my marriage, but also like really I've sort of struggled to keep that a priority through the diagnosis and just logistics of the last couple of years. And I really sort of resonate with what Lana said about not necessarily shift work, but I feel like my marriage relationship really revolves around logistics for our family. And my husband commented once recently, like, we don't have any fun in our lives. Like, there's very little, I feel like, that we do for ourselves or engage in like building our relationship. And that has been hard. And then I also find that between the pandemic and my work and home life, it's just been hard to maintain friendships and like other close relationships. So all of that, and the fact that I'm very bad at prioritizing self-care, made me feel like I need to make a change. I feel like I've sort of hit a crisis point where, I don't know if it's a crisis point, but at a moment where I need to do something different, because I feel like I've just been, it's been hard to keep my head above water and get through the days. And I don't feel like I am, I feel like I need to do something more with the relationships that could bring kind of more strength and joy back.
Well, I'm really glad you're here. And it sounds like you got the memo. You were listening. Like, okay, I need to do something. I'm barely head above water. So it's really good that you're here. And yeah, we will actually really explore and learn some practical things you can do. And it's not that it's necessarily easy to do these things because of everything that everyone has said so far. There's not a lot of time. And the truth is we have to prioritize ourselves. And that's the first thing in relationships is self-care. And being a caregiver, it's really hard. And we did a long series of spiritual self-care workshops. And that was really about, you could take the word spiritual, put it in, take it out. It's really about essential self-care and turning toward yourself. And it's only when we do that then we can actually do that in our relationships, in our primary relationships, and in our friendships. So we'll definitely be looking at that. I'm glad you shared, Katie. Catherine.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I have three sons. My oldest is in college. My middle son is affected. He's got very severe intellectual disability, autism, epilepsy, and a host of other things. He can walk and eat, although swallowing's difficult for him and he's underweight. Um, he's considered nonverbal. He has a few words and word approximations and signs that he either learned or has made up himself. And so we talk about a really limited range of things. We talk about where he wants to eat and what songs he wants to listen to, stuff like that. He's 20, and I have a third son who's at home in high school. He's a senior in high school this year. So my middle son is not at home. He's been in a group home since he was 12 and a half because of self-injurious and aggressive behaviors. And that was really, really hard for me, being his mom and also making that decision to try it. I have to say I didn't think it was going to help, but it helped a lot. It really reduced his anxiety and it made me see that he had been anxious. I literally did not think he was anxious. I thought he just was upset. But then later seeing how quickly his behaviors went away, it was clear to me. It started becoming clear to me what anxiety looked like for him. Anyway, for a long time, I just was sad, worked on getting sleep. He was very hard to take care of and almost didn't sleep. So I was very tired for a long time. So anyway, so it's been a long time now, and I've really worked on a lot of issues around myself, around my sense of guilt and sense of purpose, all that kind of stuff. But what I haven't worked on as well is just my own sort of health and wellness and, beyond that. So, this spring I found Angel Aid and was going to both this Padma's Tuesday morning class and also another journaling class on Thursdays. I did both of those for a while in the spring, and that was really wonderful for me. And then this summer, my oldest was home, and every time he's home, it feels like it's the last time that I have a kid at home. And so this summer, I really prioritized doing stuff with him. And actually, I was able to do some deep water aerobics that happened to be at the same time. So I was like, for summer, I didn't come as much. And now I'm starting a sort of a new chapter in my life. I'm doing a year-long class and starting a business. And so I plan to come to this class, but probably only every other week because my class is every other week. Exactly, like everything seems to be Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. so I'll be able to come every other week, I think. But at first I thought, I won't be able to come at all because there's another class I want to do then too. But something Padma said last time was about coming and showing up and commitment. And I thought, this is one I want to do in person, as opposed to watch later. So I really identify with what Kathy was saying. We may have some similarities in our parenting journey, and I really identify with, just everyone. Your hearts are so big, and, just trying to be good parents and grateful and deal and be a person. It's a lot. So I'm glad I'm here, and thank you, Padma.
Oh, I'm glad you're here too, Catherine, and glad you'll come every other week because that was maybe going to be just this time. So thanks for making that effort. Really appreciate that. So I can just say briefly about myself. I do counseling and mindfulness. I have a lot of meditations up on the app called Insight Timer. if anybody knows about that app. If you don't, please check it out. It's a really useful app. It's a meditation app. It's free. You can subscribe, but it's also free. And there are 100,000 meditations on there, as well as about 70 of mine. Yeah, and so meditation is a real priority for me, and I feel like mindfulness is a big component of self-care and being aware of. I heard everybody basically speak to some level of, being aware of what you're doing and what you need and what it's hard to do. And so we're going to, really tend to that, because to know is to realize, oh, like I'm at my tipping point before I get to my tipping point. Because when we get there, we crash. Either we'll have mentally we'll crash, or physically the body will tell us like, okay, you gotta rest, you gotta take care of yourself. What else do I want to say about myself? I do have a daughter who just turned 15. She doesn't have any rare diseases. She has she's human, and so she's struggling in the human ways of a teenager being growing up in our pandemic fire flood world, which is a lot. And she has her own struggles, with things like, which I think are pretty typical for teenagers, like anxiety, as you mentioned, and body image and all these things that we get to struggle with in our world as teenagers, and also as women, as the feminine. Yeah. What else do I want to say? Yeah, and I wrote this book. I wrote a book during the pandemic, and it's about relationships, and you will be getting a copy of it. It's a very simple book. It's actually pretty introductory, and it has a lot of, it's called Being Together: Practical Wisdom for Loving Yourself and Your Partner. So it's hugely practical. And it is on Audible too, if you're not somebody who likes to or has time to sit and read, although it's pretty simple. And I actually would recommend reading it together with your partner if you can, or say, here, just check this out, or even just read a small amount, because there are what I learned in people's response to it, people of all ages, was that I was surprised. People in their 70s even were finding things in it like, oh, I could use this. We could draw from this, just the little things that we could do to take care of ourselves and each other and the relationship, as you brought up, Katie. It's like, and also Lana, that it is hard, especially as a rare mother, to tend to the container of your relationship, because you're kind of tag teaming, or you are tag teaming, and you're doing a lot of logistics, and it's a lot. So yeah, I'm feeling like I would like to just, for maybe 5 minutes, just meditate and let this sink in, because there's a lot that was shared. So it's also useful to just receive also that you are in a community of women, of rare mothers, of people who are really here with you and with your heart, and you're here with them. And this is actually a very rare opportunity to sit in a circle with people who who get what's going on for you. And as I was listening to everybody, I mean, there's so much overlap, and I'm curious about this, if there are specific, as I said, challenges and also gifts when you're navigating a primary relationship, as well as other relationships, friendships. There's parent-child, there's caregivers, relationships with caregivers. These are all relationships that need tending. And so if there are specific things that are coming up for you that you want to share, that actually the wisdom in this circle can support you with. So I do encourage you to speak up and offer something when you're inspired to reflect back to someone else. I'm just holding it that way. And usually we'll take a few minutes and journal. I don't know if you have a piece of paper or a journal near you, or if you want to type on your computer, that's fine. I'm a fan of pens and journaling myself at this point, even though I do plenty of writing on the computer. So let's just really meditate and just get quiet for 5 minutes and let it sink in, because this is one of the foundations of self-care, is quieting down. So we'll just take 5 minutes. So I invite you to let your eyes close. Make your body comfortable. Arrange yourself. If you would like to lie down, you are welcome to do that. This is your time to receive yourself first, because you, as a rare mother, are such a giver. And this is your time to be on the receiving end of your own attention. So receive your breath. Breath is a constant. It's a friend. Your breath can usher you into the present, where you can set any worries, concerns, fears about your child or children, your relationship, the world at large. You can set all of that aside just for right now. And see if you can notice the physical experience of your breath gently rising and falling. Noticing how the chest rises and falls with the breath. And just see if you can let yourself rest into the rhythm of your breath. And if thoughts come, you can let them drift by. Because as you notice your breath, you're noticing yourself. Just letting your gaze be turned inside. And this might be somewhat unfamiliar. And that's okay. Just noticing what it feels like to turn your gaze, your attention, your precious attention toward yourself. Just taking a big breath, maybe placing one or both hands on your heart, or see if your hands want to rest somewhere else, like your belly, or anywhere else that might be needing some attention, some care. And just thank yourself for taking this little bit of time. And really notice, what is it like to turn your attention toward yourself? What comes up? Let's just take a few minutes, gently, gently allowing the eyes to open. And I'd like you to just take a few minutes to reflect on, what is it like to turn your attention toward yourself? And then, are there any specific challenges for you that are showing up in your life right now around your relationship, your primary relationship, your marriage? What are those challenges? We'll just take a little bit of time here, maybe like just 3 minutes, and we'll reflect. So, how was that for you? And what are your challenges in your relationship, partnership, marriage right now? Maybe just finishing up whatever you are writing, reflecting on, even though I know we could probably write for longer. I would like to give us time to share what's going on. How was that? And you're welcome to read what you wrote, and you also do not need to read what you wrote. You could refer to it, whatever feels good to you. So what came up in that? How was that to give your attention to yourself?
I thought it was nice to be able to relax and not really think about other things. That was a real treat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do have time for myself, but it's usually multitasking and doing other things too, because I also work. So it's just a matter of getting everything done. That's like kind of feels like you're just go, 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 go. So 5 minutes, I think, could really mean a lot. To do that daily can make a big difference.
Exactly. That is very well said. So that could be a great invitation that we make to ourselves and maybe to each other, is to take 5 minutes a day. You could use this nice timer, an insight timer, if you want. You could listen to, there are short guided meditations on there, a lot of them. There's nice meditation music, just to really let yourself take that time is huge, actually. So thank you for that. How was it for others?
I found it really hard.
Yeah.
I haven't done meditation before, and it was really hard for me to not to push the thoughts and out and let them go by. I felt like I spent most of the time just trying to keep my brain focused, and it was really hard. I think that it would take a lot of practice for me to be able to like do that. I felt like I didn't get to a fully kind of relaxed place because I was working so hard to keep focused. So I think that, but I also think it's such a privilege or a blessing to like be given that 5 minutes to like push those thoughts away, because I spend most of my day like listening to all of them and feeling either overwhelmed or like I'm not accomplishing what I need to, because there are so many things on that list. And I think that even spending 5 minutes just pushing them away is and saying no, I'm going to refocus, even if I never fully focused, was a nice change from the normal pace.
Yes. And that makes total sense, because meditation is a skill. And so one of the elements of meditation, which, by the way, thoughts, I mean, I've been meditating for 40 years and thoughts still come. And sometimes it takes me a while almost to circle down and down and down and down. And then finally there's rest, there's quiet. And there's also, you're restricting or resisting following the thoughts, you're actually developing that as a muscle. Like, I do not have to follow that thought. Thank you. I'm not going to follow that, because trust me, the really important thoughts will resurface. They will. You won't forget about them. They will come and say, oh yeah, you have to take care of that. So that's one part of meditation, is saying no thank you to the many, many, many thoughts about the things in your life. And the other part is, oh, I can always return to my breath. That's how breath is one of our greatest allies. So you're right on track. The first thing is restrict. Like, no, thank you. Very kindly. No, thank you. I'm not going to go there now. It's like little kids pulling. Like, no, we're not going to do that right now. We're not going to do that right now. We'll get to it. We're not going to do it. So it's great. It's really great. And it's always the right time to begin a meditation practice.
I thought of Katie her being a doctor, I was a teacher. And when my boys got sick, the hardest thing for me was letting go of control, because you want things to be in order so that you can do your job and that you can make the most progress what you're doing. But I had to let go. I had to learn to let go of controlling their health, controlling my classroom. And I kind of had to let go of my relationship with my husband in expecting him to live up to all my expectations. I was writing down, we went to eat a meal a couple of days ago, and he now needs to use a walker. He's a strong guy. He's a builder of buildings, and he's a strong guy, but he's having a problem with balance. And they want him to use a walker until his back surgery and everything is all back on track. So he doesn't always like to use the walker. So he wanted to hold my hand. Well, he used to put his hand on my shoulder and he fell on me once. So they said, no, don't put your hand on her shoulder. And he said, so we can hold hands because we can let go of the hands. And he was so sweet. He says, I watched you holding hands with our little boys for all those years. And now here you are back holding my hand. And it reminded me that we have been in the practice of forgiving each other. We were married for 11 years, and then we divorced and remarried a couple of times, and then widowed, and then we got back together. Well, we had to forgive what happened in the very beginning, and we had to remember what our relationship was like before we did the things that we had to forgive. And now we forgive each other on a daily basis. And I'm so set in my ways, but I'm trying to not be so set in my way and to be open to the possibility of the things that can happen between us. New things maybe, or things that haven't happened for a long time. And hopefully that's going to help our relationship continue to improve, because it is something that we work on with good results.
Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful. I love that story about holding hands. And yes, you bring in one of the pieces that we will talk about that was actually one of the skills, or one of the something we can offer is forgiveness. Forgiving, we forgive each other every day. That's something to live by. We forgive ourselves and each other every day. Because bottom line is, you're doing your best. We have to realize, like, we all have a certain capacity. And our capacity is stretched and diminished by all the pressures of our lives. And so to be really forgiving and staying open is very beautiful. Great.
I wanted to answer the question, what's it like to turn attention towards self? I just wrote down, it feels good. It felt kind of warming and pleasant and energizing. And when I was listening to what Kathy said, I just heard this word, like, relief. I don't think she said relief, or maybe she did, but that's kind of, sometimes it feels like that, like this relief from the thoughts of, I have to do more, I have to do better, what am I doing next? What's, sort of relief from that sort of go, 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 which is weird because I like go, go, go. Like I like that. I like doing things. I like being busy. I like arranging lots of stuff. So being in control. So it's interesting that when we do meditation, it feels like we're letting go, but in a way we're kind of in more control. I don't know. I feel like it's interesting that we're sort of controlling what thoughts we pay attention to, and that it's like almost more control, yet it feels like a letting go. So I find that a paradox. And I just wanted to say to Katie that I started trying to meditate probably 10 years ago. And it was like so phenomenally uncomfortable. Like it was just like, it felt like the worst thing I could ever try to do. And so for me, I really liked having guided meditations, like having less of the blank space so that I had a focus point. And I also really like something that I don't really see much of. I don't see much guided this way, but like moving meditation. So like moving my body. And I have a lot of like joint pain and fascia pain and, a lot of stuff that's kind of uncomfortable. And I've hypermobile joints. And so just sitting up in a chair without a back is very hard for me. And so even without trying to rein in my thoughts or let my thoughts go or whatever, even without that like super difficult part of it on top of it, just sitting in a chair is like not that easy. So for me, that moving really has helped. But I just wanted to offer that because this time when I sat down and just did it for that 3 minutes, it did feel nice. Like it did. It had that sense of relief.
Thank you. Yeah, meditation is a practice. And it actually is. It's true. It's a discipline, right? It's a discipline. We're controlling the mind. We're actually sort of taming the wild horse of the mind. We're actually having the mind be in service rather than the mind just taking us everywhere and diffusing our energy and sort of spinning us around the room and, tossing us aside. So there's a great benefit to being able to align the mind and the heart. That's one of the things that meditation does. It takes the mind and the heart and it aligns them. And then you can move forward with clarity, with discernment, and you can trust yourself. Because I wanted to say, even though, and it's clear everyone here has highly intelligent minds, the mind is not always trustworthy. The mind is a trickster. The mind is, full of justifications, rationalizations, etc., fears. But then when you align mind and heart, you're getting multiple intelligences on board, we might say. We really want to move around using as much, with a connection to as much intelligence as possible and not solely relying on the intelligence of our minds. So how do we apply this to our relationships? So this is the primary. And Lana, I don't know, are you available to say anything or does your son need you? I'm just wondering.
Yes, sorry, I'm here. I wasn't even able to really participate because I had to stop and suction. And so that
Understand.
that's what I keep thinking. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to obviously I want to do these calls with you guys, but I'm gonna have to make sure that I have somebody watch him because then I can actually participate and take it all. Because this way I'm like, oh gosh, okay, let me suction.
Divided.
Yeah, not able to really turn it all off and breathe and
right.
So like you said, take the time for myself. Yeah.
Well, it would be wonderful if you can find somebody, and I would encourage you to come either way, because even if you're sort of partially here, you're still getting something and we're receiving something from you being here.
Yeah. So. And honestly, listening to you guys, and especially Katie, when she was saying, she's having a hard time. I've tried, because I've done a Bible study class a couple months ago, just trying anything to just, I don't know, find some help. I don't know where to turn. Like you said, just anything anybody would suggest, I'm like, okay, let me do that. And just trying to turn off my brain is impossible. I have to now start sleeping with the mouth guard because my brain is just constantly I'm grinding my teeth and I'm just so tense. And so just being able to turn it off is very, very difficult. But I know that I need to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good awareness to realize like, I need to work on this. I need to carve out, even if it's 5 minutes. And I just want to mention, I have a meditation on Insight Timer that's 3 minutes. You might start with 3 minutes. It's called Reset to Presence. It's super, super fast. And people have 1 minute meditations on there. So whatever you can do for yourself is wonderful.
Yeah.
And will contribute to how you show up with your child and also in your relationship, because meditation settles us, right? So this is not a meditation class, and we will weave in, this is meditation for me is primary self-care. You know, it really is. It's primary. It's right there with sleep, you know, like it sets you up. And even if you can meditate for 1 minute, like 3 times a day, that's one of my favorite assignments I give to my clients, is just set a timer, an alarm to go off 3 times a day, and just breathe. Just close your eyes and breathe. And if all you do is follow your thoughts for that 1 minute, that's okay. You've just like reclaim your attention, because, right, we know about neuroscience tells us now we can rewire the brain, neuroplasticity. So we can, when we turn our attention inside, we're creating a pathway. Oh, I can go inside. And it's a new pathway, or it's not such a new pathway. And it does get easier, I just want to say.
Thank you, guys. I mean, this has already been helpful. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, the idea is to be connected, for all of us, for all of you to be connected, and then to have these connections with each other, to be able to follow up and just through Mighty Networks and just say, hey, I really liked what you said. Could we chat? You know? So that's part of the vision, is weaving this web of support and community, because you're not alone. So it's really important to know you're not alone.
That's what I was just thinking. Actually, when you said, I'm like, it's good to know, you know, you're not alone. Not the only one feeling this and going through this.
Exactly. And like Phyllis said, this wasn't, Phyllis, you didn't have this when your boys were alive. So it's big. And I guess I would just want to speak to a little bit that when you take care of yourself, so there's something called, in the relationship, there's we, right? There's you, and there's me, and there's we. Here we are together. And all parts are valuable. So taking care and diving into yourself and being connected to yourself is very supportive for being in the we. Because then when I'm with you, I'm still with me. I'm not just ships passing in the night, tag teaming on logistics. I'm actually here with myself. And the intention is that that your partner is there with themselves. And it sounds like, is this whole group, are we with men? Is that just, I'm just checking. We have all genders here. I just want to make sure I'm not generalizing or making assumptions. Okay. So we can just speak about that until and if somebody comes who's not, you know, because everyone's welcome. So yeah, just that your partner, your husband is, you know, also, that's something you can practice. That's one thing I'll give you. How about that? Is you can practice just in the transitions, just pause, take a couple breaths, see each other, feel yourself. Oh, here I am in myself. Oh, okay, I'm breathing. And then see the other person, right? It's that just moment of really intentional connection that actually creates the connection that lets the other person know, I care about you. We're not just like, we're on the same team, and it's not just a handoff. This is not a relay race where we're doing handoffs. I'm actually caring about you. And the first thing for me to care about you is for me to care about me. And then stop And this speaks to what you're already doing, Phyllis, is forgiveness. How do we forgive? We have to be connected to ourselves and stop and say, okay, I'm going to forgive you for that. And you're going to forgive me for this. So just maybe, so does that make sense to take an intentional moment in those transitions? They're super important. Just stopping. Maybe it's a hug. Maybe it's just looking at each other. Maybe it's a kiss. I don't know about you, but in my relationship with my partner, sometimes he's just he only goes to work once a week in the office, but he'll just go, okay, bye. And I'm like, what was that? Like drive-by kisses? I guess it's better than nothing. And let's just pause. If you're going to give me a kiss, just be there for the kiss or the hug or the, whatever it is, little squeeze. So just briefly, what are you taking from today? What's a nugget that you're going to live into in your world this week, between this week and next? And I really do invite you and hope that you will prioritize yourself and show up here as consistently as you can. Just put that out in the field. So what are you taking from today that you can live into, work with, explore?
I've downloaded the Insight Timer app just now. I'd never heard of that before. So thank you. Because when you said we're going to meditate for 5 minutes, I'm like, oh my word, how do we do that? So I'm so thankful that you walked us through it. Yeah, because I've always wanted to do it, but haven't. So I'm going to do that. And then also a word that it keeps coming up in my mind in the past and also today is control. I would love to learn how to not try to be in so control, because I can't be in control of others. Like my 15-year-old son, I want him to do better in school or, focus more on school, but that's his life. So I need to just be able to, I need to learn about that. I don't know if that's something that we can talk about here as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Great, Kathy. What else? What other nuggets are you taking from today?
I want to thank Catherine for committing to try to be here every other week, because commitment is important to me, and you reinforced that desire I have to be committed to be at these, even when it's the last minute, or even when I have other things that have to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Yeah, and you know what? You're welcome to come late, because I understand that life happens and you can come late. So please feel free to come just as you are. What else?
Thank you. I really have enjoyed this conversation about meditation, and I am going to definitely recommit to doing it daily, even if it's short, but that just reminding that it is a muscle, that practicing it helps, that even just doing the first part more will help all of it always. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I think I would just echo, I plan to download the Insight Timer. I think I would like to try to work on this muscle of meditation, probably short at first. I think I also, I really like what you just shared, Padma, about sort of pausing at transition times. I feel like life feels particularly busy and full of logistics and transitions. And I think I realize that I'm not very present with myself or my partner in those times. And I think trying to be present with myself and with my husband, like at those transition times, even for just a moment, I think would really help. I think that feeling connected to myself and him and our relationship and, the family that we have, I think would help a lot with a variety of stressors. So that's one that I feel like it takes, just a few moments to pause and really be present. So that's one I'd like to really work on.
Wonderful. Yeah, the pause. The magic of the pause is rather infinite, actually. And it can be just a couple of breaths, and you just reset, because actually your presence is your greatest contribution that you have. how you're present with yourself, how you're present with everybody that you relate to, how you're present with your food, how you're present with, all of it. That's great. Lana, do you want to say anything more about what you're taking or what you'll practice?
I'm definitely gonna practice just taking a minute, hopefully 3, to just meditate, think to myself, or not think, rather. And then what you said about pausing, that really is something I need to do. My husband has said so many times, like, when's the last time you gave me a kiss? We're just like spontaneous, like, and it's something that I just don't think about. I guess there's just so much going on. I'm like, really? Like, you want me to do, like, now I got to think about, oh, when's the last time I gave you a kiss? But I'm wrong and I know it. And, just not being able to like spend any time together, the least I can do, get up and give him a hug or give him a kiss. And that effort, like you said, that pause, just a couple of seconds, I need to be better at doing that. So I'm really going to make an effort.
Great. Yeah, it's a great intention. The intention to connect with love and kindness and some affection. Affection is really good medicine for relationships, I would say. Hugs and little smooch for no reason. And this is bridging into one of the most important things in relationships is appreciation. Showing our appreciation. So we have touched on many of the pieces that we will explore. So thank you all. I want to respect your time. We're a little bit over, and I just thank you so much for being here. And please feel free to reach out to me on Mighty Networks and pages here if you have any issues navigating Mighty Networks or questions about Angel Aid or anything like that. Yeah. So is there anything else that anyone wants to say? All right. Well, let's unmute and just say goodbye then for now.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Wonderful to be with you all. Thank you for prioritizing yourself and showing up here. Really awesome.
And hugs to everybody.
Yeah. And hugs to everybody. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We will see you next time or in 2 weeks if you're Catherine.